Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Reacting Reddit, where real humans read, react, and summarize trending topics and stories using social media sites and Reddit, so you don't have to browse them. Today we're going to be talking about Amanda Nunes fighting Megan Anderson. And I didn't know much about Nunes prior to this, but geez, she is a beast. I would not want to fight that person. I mean, I couldn't fight anybody, but geez. Like, she could beat up some grown-ass men fighters for sure. Let's get to it. So first, let's get some context. Ooh, I'm gonna mispronounce this. Bachowicz versus Adesanya was a mixed martial arts event produced by the Ultimate Fighting Championship that took place on March 6, 2021 at the UFC Apex facility in Enterprise, Nevada, part of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Area of the United States. A UFC Women's Featherweight Championship bout between the current champion Amanda Nunes, also the current UFC Women's Bantamweight champion, and former Invicta Featherweight champion Megan Anderson served as the co-main events. To the news. Israel Adesanya learned that holding two UFC title belts simultaneously is not nearly as easy as Amanda Nunes makes it look. And Peter Yan learned that even a momentary lapse in discipline can clearly cost a champion. These are by the Washington Post, by the way. Jan Bachowicz defended his UFC light heavyweight title with a unanimous decision over the previously unbeaten Adesanya at UFC 259 on Saturday night, thwarting the reigning middleweight champ's bid to claim a second belt. "Losses are part of life," Adesanya said. "This is just my first one in MMA. And if I was going to lose to anyone, what better guy to lose to than a guy like Jan? Classy champion, cool dude, nice guy. He has a great story to tell. From almost getting cut from the UFC, he becomes a champion and hands this guy, me, a future legend, his first loss." Badass. Yahoo Sports adds, Amanda Nunes continued her dominance over women in the UFC, submitting a badly overmatched Megan Anderson with an armbar in just 2 minutes, 3 seconds, Saturday in the co-main event of the UFC 259 at Apex. Nunes, widely considered the greatest female fighter of all time in mixed martial arts, dominated from the start. She hits the significantly taller Anderson with a right hand on the chin about 10 seconds into the fight, and it went downhill from there for the Aussie. The win was the 12th in a row for Nunes, who has no challengers on the horizon at either bantamweight or featherweight, who figure to give her a serious challenge. The UFC doesn't have many female featherweights, and Nunes has decimated the ones they do have. Bantamweight is a solid division, but there is no one who could be considered a serious threat. Nunes hasn't lost since he gassed late in September 27th of 2014, over 6 years ago. A fight at UFC 178, and was stopped by Kat Zingano. Zingano? Oh my god, I'm sorry about these names. Since then, she's won 12 fights in succession, including 6 by knockout and 2 by submission. Finally, to the Reddit reaction. Let's look at these comments. Hey Asher Rice 911 says, seriously, Megan looked like a deer in the headlights once she felt her power and got herded into the cage. There's just no competition for her at 145 pounds. Maybe at 135 because she obviously depletes herself to make it at that weight. But even then, I think only Valentina is the only challenge for her in the entire women's UFC roster. Even though we expected it and saw it coming, it was still unreal to watch. Like Nunes in the Matrix or some shit. Just levels and moves ahead. Megan's eyes were so deer in headlights. No matter what you expect, Amanda Nunes surprises. She looks so fucking powerful. And not just powerful, technically sound. It's not fair. You know, all week I got attacked on Megan's Insta from people claiming that Nunes didn't want to stand with her, she's too big, etc, etc. Like, bruh, Nunes is on such a different level that they're basically not even in the same sport. They should make a deal. Dissolve 145 pounds, but change the woman's bantam to 140. No one is going to beat her at 145, but she doesn't love that cut. Yeah, seriously. Until someone with a little more size and a lot more power comes along, I don't really see her losing. She has absolutely dismantled every opponent in her last 12 fights. let's all just agree to pretend that Amanda won the men's bantamweight title tonight instead of Aljo. That gives us the setup for the Cejudo match. I want this timeline. I would love to see Nunes at 145 compete in the men's flyweight division. That extra 20 pounds Nunes carried would hopefully mitigate this physiological advantages men have over women. Make her start at the bottom and see how far she can go. Chief Niggum says, Megan had her hands half up, mouth open in pure shock before that final exchange. Never seen a literal deer in headlights look in the octagon before this. Amanda is in a league of her own. Look at her walkout and in-cage warm-up. Her eyes were wide and she was clearly overwhelmed and scared. When I saw her walking out, I told my wife, shit, it's already over, just by looking at her facial expressions. It actually happened to quite a few of Amanda's opponents. Definitely happened to Cyborg and Ronda. I also can't forget Yana Kunowitz's face after getting hit once by Cyborg. Anderson wouldn't even crack the top 10 at 135. UFC needs to fold the 145 division. These last two fights have been an embarrassment. Anderson looked like she was just picked up off the street and they asked if she wanted to fight tonight. It was pathetic. I actually found that really touching and special to celebrate with the wife and baby, then take baby to go pay respects to the challenger and see the challenger so happy to interact with the baby. As a new dad, all the feelings. You know, I'm constantly like, what's the point in Amanda fights? She just steamrolls people. Then I watch the fights and go, oh right, blood for the blood gods. Carry on. Right, which is why Anderson didn't belong in the cage with her. They gave her two opponents without wiki pages after losing to Felicia Spencer so that they could send her to get slaughtered by Nunes. Just seeing her standing in front of Nunes gave me soccer mom flashbacks. Soccer mom match flashbacks. I remember this being said for Ronda and then Cyborg, but Nunes is seriously something else. Her body is just differently built. Check out her elbows. Imagine being so fucking good that there's no real suspense when you fight the top contenders in the world. Nunes is seriously something else. I don't think it's even possible to underestimate Anderson. She's abysmal. People are talking about Nunes, which I guess is fair given the past wins, but this fight barely even counts. Anderson got a title shot on a 2-fight win streak over Norman Dumont and Zara Farn. This fight would be like giving Khabib someone off the Contender Series in between actual fights. I wouldn't be surprised if she could take out low-ranked 145-pounders. Let's not pull a Ronda and say she can KO Mayweather, but she definitely is the best woman for the job. Valentina was respectable in that second fight. She challenged Nunes at the very least, but I just don't think that fans overall are interested in that fight. You know, she arguably won the second, and I completely disagree with you. It would be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, women's fights ever. I wish the weight class difference wasn't there, you know? It would be amazing to have 2 or more truly top fight competitors in 135. Strawweight would sell after last time. That's the last truly competitive women's division. The problem the UFC has, and Nunes too, is 135 and 145 have no depth, especially 145. But then look at strawweight, which is full of absolute killers. They're pretty close in skill, but I think Nunes is better on the ground. With her size advantage, I think she could breeze to a boring Wrestle Gwyn and not even entertain the striking. Honestly, she might be dampening excitement for the 135-pound division. Takes away the tension of title bouts when Nunes is so goddamn dominant. Exactly what I was trying to say. It's cool to see an all-time great at their peak, but it's boring when the conclusions are foregone and there's no competition. The UFC title fight record for all current former female champions. Friendly reminder that Holly Holm is the only one win away from another title shot. She will almost certainly fight for the belt later this year after she defeats Juliana Pena in May. I would like to see her fight GDR at 135 first, where the winner getting Nunes. But you're probably right. With the way she gets title shots, a win over Pena would probably do it. All right, everybody, that's it for now. Sorry, I'm not so good at this sports content, but if you like this video or you want to watch one of our other better videos that aren't about sports, well, please do one of the 4 following. Check out one of our other videos, subscribe to our channel, comment below, or like this video. All right, everybody, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.